Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's Dennis from Simplify Investing. Today I want to talk about 3 stocks I'm buying this week. If you're new here, please hit that like button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're interested in more videos like this one, please subscribe. Without any further ado, let's get started. Today what I wanted to talk about is Smith & Wesson stock. But before we do, I do really want to emphasize that I do not want to talk about personal opinions about politics on this channel. I only want to talk about politics on this channel because there's a huge correlation between stocks and politics. With the election coming up, there's a lot of uncertainty on the outlook of the economy due to the 2 presidential nominees having very different views on the economy. I personally do not want to sway your political ways one way or another, but I do want to make you aware of stocks you can pick that'll perform well under certain circumstances. I care about how politics affect my stock portfolio and not vice versa. As I'm sure you've all already heard, President Trump and the First Lady have both been diagnosed with the illness going around. I believe this has changed the odds of Trump becoming reelected tremendously. Now there is speculation going around that Trump is faking it and that he will attend the next presidential debate, which is in 2 weeks, and down talk the illness. This is something I believe to be very speculative, but time will tell. With that out of the way, I want to talk about the presidential odds. So as you guys can see here, I pulled up a website on realclearpolitics.com. What they do is they grab averages of a few different companies, online gambling companies, and they get their odds and just average it out. So for example, this company right here has odds of Joe Biden leading by 59 and Donald Trump by 42. So I just wanted to use this website in order to give a little bit of a view of what's going on with the presidential election, right? So as you can see here, they were pretty much tied, and then Joe Biden right here started taking a little bit of a lead. Back in September 29th, which was a Tuesday, I believe, that's when the presidential debate was. As you can see, Joe Biden definitely spiked. As you can see, 54.5 all the way up to 61. And then last night, which was Thursday, October 1st, around midnight, there's news that came out that President Trump obviously got the illness as well as the First Lady, right? And I think that the market's starting to price in. There's going to be a good chance that President Trump doesn't get reelected. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, because these two these two presidential nominees have very different outlooks on the economy, and they do have favorites of different companies and different sectors, right? So the first company that I wanted to talk about was Smith & Wesson's. Before any presidential election, there is a huge demand, or a huge spike in demand for guns, just because Democrats are more known to remove the Second Amendment. Rather, Republicans are the opposite. They don't really mind it, and they want to keep it. They do like the right to bear arms. But the Democrats, on the other hand, are the opposite. Democrats, not all of them, but some of them do definitely want to take away the Second Amendment or limit it in one way or another. And I think that's really important to keep in mind. Before every election, people get nervous that guns may get taken away from them, and they end up deciding to buy guns. So there's always like a huge little spike both in their stock price and the demand for guns themselves. Now, I specifically picked Smith & Wesson, ticker symbol SWBI, just because I want to do a pure direct play on guns. I know you could do different retailers. Different retailers offer guns. Some offer more ammunition. Some do a mixture of both. But I don't want retail to be in this trade, just because I do think the illness is starting to get a little bit worse, especially in Europe, and I think that there's a large chance of it coming back. I know that during the peak of the COVID, there was still a huge demand for guns, and people were going to stores regardless of the illness that's going around to buy guns, but I still prefer just a pure direct play on guns and ammo. And as you guys are probably already familiar with, Smith & Wesson owns a ton of different brands. I believe it's 18, and they own accessory brands for guns, ammunition. They manufacture guns, they customize guns, they do all the above practically just for guns. So I think this is a little bit of a better play than just retail itself. So as you guys can see here, I pulled up Smith & Wesson, ticker symbol SWBI on Yahoo Finance, and I went ahead and pulled up the chart. I do want to keep in mind that due to all the riots in the past few months, due to the civil unrest that we've had, gun sales have been soaring, so the stock has been doing pretty well in the recent few months. As you can see here, In April, this company was trading at about $6, and right now we're seeing it at $16.53. The 52-week high is $22.40. But I don't really think, I don't want to focus on that. What I want to focus on is the momentum that the stock is going to have due to the possibility of a Democrat heading into office. I think that's the most important thing. As you can see here, the market was down in general today. Obviously, the news of President Trump came out last night. The market was down. Tech was hit pretty damn hard. But this company was actually up. And I do believe this is because Joe Biden's odds of becoming president are more likely and higher. Next up, I pulled up their 10K. As you can see here, they have all the different brands listed off. Most of these are gun related or hunting related. A lot of them are accessories for guns or knives, etc., etc. So as you can see here, ammunition, shooting range and marksman products, firearm cleaning and maintenance, gunsmith tools, etc. Here you have all the hunting brands, so hunting accessories, hunting knives, accessories. They have scopes, barrels, etc. for all different guns. They also have fishing supplies. So it's a really diverse company. It's something that I've been paying attention to closely. But I do want to keep in mind that this is purely a trade if and only if it looks like Joe Biden is going to win. If Joe Biden is losing in the odds, I don't think it's a good idea to buy the stock. I think the stock will do pretty poorly if Trump gets reelected, because the reason why this stock will shoot up if Joe Biden gets elected is because there's a threat to the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms and to buy weapons. And I think that's what will cause the stock to rise. Next up, I want to talk about NextEra Energy, ticker symbol NEE. This has been a company that I've wanted to own for quite a bit. If you aren't aware, Joe Biden actually doesn't like big oil. He wants to transfer over to clean energy, and he has a huge preference towards it. Here I pulled up this article on CNBC, how he has a $1.7 trillion climate plan, and they're pretty much saying that it's going to hurt oil companies. They're going to do a lot of tax credits to clean energies, and I'm really hoping that NextEra is one of the companies that they benefit. But again, even if they don't, it's a very well-structured company, but I do think that they're going to spike quite a bit if it looks like Trump is going to lose and Biden will win. Next up, I went ahead and pulled up the company overview on their actual website, on their investor relations website, and I highlighted a few different key points that I wanted to point out. This company is from Florida. It's based in Juno Beach. They own two different companies, electric companies in Florida, which is Florida Power and Light Company. They both serve a big portion of Florida. Also, NextEra Energy Resources, LLC, which together with its affiliates entities is the world's largest generator of renewable energy from the wind and sun and a world leader in battery storage. Through its subsidies, NextEra Energy generates clean, emissions-free electricity from 8 commercial nuclear plants in Florida, New Hampshire, Iowa, and Wisconsin. So I think that's pretty important to keep in mind. This company is going to do very well, and I like this company specifically because it's probably one of the biggest in the industry. So that really excites me. Next up, I want to talk about their balance sheet for an electricity company. I think they have an amazing balance sheet. As you can see here, they have 117 billion in total assets, and they do have a pretty low debt. So I think this enables them to grow very rapidly, and this is why I choose them for my energy play. I did go ahead and also pull up NextEra's 10Q. As you can see here, they have a strong growth in their EPS. In 2018, they had 7.70, and now in 2019, they had 8.37, and they're expected to grow at about 6 to 8% compound adjusted growth rate. So I think that's pretty impressive for a company this large in size. I think that if Biden does actually become president, this will actually accelerate even more, and I'm a strong believer in this company. Last but not least, I want to talk about Peloton, ticker symbol PTON. This has been one of the best performing stocks in the stock market since the pandemic started. As you can see here, they IPO'd back in September of 2019. They did really, really, really poorly. A lot of people questioned if this company was going to do well just because their products was very expensive and nobody really had a reason to buy it unless you were a true enthusiast. So the market was very small. But basically the best case scenario that could possibly happen to Peloton. pretty much gyms shut down. People are terrified of gyms, and they don't want to step foot near a gym. So this company definitely benefited. A lot of people who want to still work out, get their cardio in, they decide to buy this bike. This bike can range from $2,000 to $4,000, and they do also have recurring revenue. They have like a membership where you have to pay in order to take the classes and bike along with different people. They built a very strong community for the cyclists, so you can actually bike with your friends and your colleagues and your family members. They are losing money right now. Their EPS is negative, but I don't really think that's the narrative of the story. I think that the pandemic is going to get worse, in my opinion. I see how Europe is growing, and there's possible lockdowns in Madrid, in the UK. I really do think that we're going to experience a second wave, or maybe even a third wave, if you want to call it that, in the United States. And I'm really worried about that. And Peloton would be definitely a company that will benefit from that. If you're not familiar, this is what they look like. It's basically a bike that's just a stationary bike, but with a screen, and you have an instructor on there that'll basically motivate you to keep cycling, and you see other people in the screen like cycle with you. So I think this is definitely a great play on pandemic stocks, if you would say. There's been different companies that have come into this market. Amazon came out with a bike. Apple decided to come out with a new service called Apple Fitness. But I still think they're not really direct competition to Peloton. Peloton already has built out a community, and people just love it. If you go on Facebook, if you go on YouTube, you see all these different great reviews about Peloton and how excited people are just to have their Peloton. So I think Peloton's here to stay. Basically, the best case scenario that could possibly happen to Peloton happened. But again, if you're new here, please hit that like button. It really helps out with this YouTube algorithm. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It took me a lot of time to make this video. I actually had to change 2 of the stocks that I had inside this due to the president actually becoming sick with the illness that's going around. So I ended up having to change 2 different of the stocks. But thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.